Hey guys, thanks for coming back. Welcome to Joe's House Hacks, and it's a place where you get some tips and tricks on home maintenance and some other building projects. Today we're going to talk about how to caulk your bathtub, how to re-caulk your bathtub. So some of the things you're going to need is you're going to need some paper towels or a rag. You're going to need a putty knife and perhaps a utility knife. And you need to get yourself a tube of caulking or silicone. The difference between caulking and silicone is silicone you can't paint, caulking you can, typically. I've tried a number of this bathtub here. We've tried a number of different products, and none of them really seem to work great. They last for 6 months, and then it's time to rip them out. I'm very particular about my caulking jobs. I hate when they get all messed up, and I don't like it when they get any discoloration. So I'm going to try this one today. It's the Page's PL Heavy Duty Sealant for kitchen and bathrooms. Now make sure you get something that's good for kitchens and bathrooms, mildew and mold resistant. This one says it's shower ready in 30 minutes. I don't recommend it. I recommend waiting at least 24 hours before you use the shower at all, or the bathtub. So when you do first of all, you got to remove all your caulking, all the old caulking, all the old silicone, because if you don't, you won't have a good solid bond. You don't want anything to move in behind. So I recommend using a putty knife to start with. You can use your knife, but the problem is with a knife is this is basically a plastic tub surround stuff, and then the tub is an acrylic bathtub, so it'd be very easy to cut or scratch with your knife. So, but if you're very, very careful, you can. The other thing is, make sure you got soft shoes if you're going to be in the bathtub. The other thing you could do is you could put an old blanket or some old towels or something down, because you don't want to scratch up your tub at all. So then what you can do with your knife is lay it flat on the edge of the bathtub and drag it, pull it. Don't push it, but pull it, and try not to tip the blade either way, because if you do, again, you could scratch the tub. And then whenever it comes time to getting it off of the laminate, like the plastic part on the wall, what you want to do is, again, put your putty knife flat against the wall and push it. Don't pull it, and push it. And one thing that you should make sure you do is on the edge of your putty knife, round over the edges, because a lot of putty knives come with sharp corners on them, and you don't want to dig that in and scratch your tub up. So that's what you want to do. Get it all cleaned up. So I've actually cleaned mine up already in advance, because you don't want to watch me do it. That's boring. You're going to have enough fun doing it on your own. So once that's all cleaned up, and as you can see, there's the mess from my caulking on this bathtub, from the old stuff. Then you want to take a paper towel or a rag. I use paper towel because I just throw them out. And you want to make sure you wipe it off real good. Get any dust or any moisture or anything like that. So if you're finding, if your caulking was already letting go and there was a bit of, you could see space, it was cracked or anything, you want to make sure that it's completely dry before putting on any new silicone or caulking, because again, it won't bond. So what I did here is, because that did happen here, what we did is I took it all off yesterday, and then I put a fan in here pointing on an oscillating fan, so it turned, so that it would dry it out real well. The other thing is, if you're in a really big hurry and you just don't have time, you can use a shop vac, and you can vacuum out all the water, and then put the hose on the other side to blow it, and blow it all out. You could use a hair dryer too, but don't use the heat element, because if you do have a plastic tub surround, it'll make it wavy. It'll heat up the glue that's behind it, and you don't want to do that. So anyways, so we'll grab the caulking gun here, and what you got to do is, on some tubes are a bit different. This one here, it just has a screw off top, and it's already cut at the end. You can change that too. It's nice to have a bit of an angle on your caulking nozzle. So on this one, you have to, inside there's some foil. Some of them you have to cut the tip off, and some you have to poke. This one you have to poke. So on your caulking gun, there should be a poker already on it. So all you do is just give that a couple of pokes. Make sure that you know you got a few of them. This one's a good one. Give that a couple of good pokes. Pull it back, and it's always a good idea to wipe that off and then put that back. Otherwise, you're getting it all over your fingers. So then just slide that on. Take your tip, put it back on, and then whenever you're caulking, you're going to put your caulking at about 45 degrees. You just kind of get the hang of it. After you do it a couple of times, you'll just get the hang of it, and you'll just get a sense of what the best angle is. I'm sure there's guys out there that will tell you specific angles, but unless you're going to be measuring the angle, just get a comfortable feel. You don't want to be too low, and you don't want to be too high. So you want to kind of be in the middle there. And as you're putting your caulking on, pull it. But make sure you got just enough pressure. If you have too much pressure, you'll push the caulking too far out. But if you don't have enough, then you're not getting a bond on both surfaces. So as you pull it back, you want to just make sure that you got just the right pressure at the right angle. So, and then when you come into the corners, you just want to kind of try to keep that same angle. And as you come around, don't stay tight to the wall like this. You want to bring your gun out so that it's out from the wall. So you want to be about, so not only 30 to 40 degrees this way, you want to be 30 to 40 degrees both ways. So that so that you're not tight. Don't go like this, because you'll never get your caulking in. You want to be out about 40 degrees. You don't have to get crazy and measure it, but so you pull that along. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause you for a second. I'm going to caulk it all, and then I'm going to come back and show you. So that's your tip for the day. So make sure that you have that on the angle. And whenever you do put the caulking on, you can either run your finger through it. It's a good idea to wet it and to smooth it out and to actually push it in to bond it better. Or you can, I've made up tools before, when I've had to do jobs where, you're doing miles and miles of it basically. You can buy tools that you can use for perfect caulking lines and that, or you can make them up. I just make them up. I make them out of a heavy plastic. And the other thing is you can even use your putty knife if it's small enough. This one's too big, so it would just make a big wad. You don't want it too big. You don't want too big a caulking, because then it becomes a mess. And it does most caulkings. Silicone's less likely. Caulking's more likely, as they collect and hold the dirt and that. So you have to wash them off every once in a while. So anyways, I'll let you see this after I'm all done, because you don't want to watch me do it, because it's just extremely boring.